Welcome in today on the Meltdown. It is good to be back with another live show as a pretty weak Labor Day weekend at the box office occurred. But it did have Tyler hitting up the Cineplex, even though he wasn't really joined by many other people. We will update you on the holiday standings and what Tyler saw specifically. Tin with Tim will kick us off this week with another double-digit number of random topics for our panel, and we will travel back 25 years as John is going to profile the 1999 movies that seem to have best stood the test of time with another Luntz's List. It's all happening right here on The Meltdown as we're presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big boys in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes sound a meltdown. It's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
Welcome in to all of you beautiful Meltdonians who are joining us here for yet another week of pop culture conversation as we're set to talk all things movies, television, music. It's all on the table here at the Meltdown, and we appreciate you making us a part of your day. We appreciate all of those who have gotten us to 1,500 subscribers. Thank you for joining us here on this journey as we continue to build this thing on the channel. If you have not yet subscribed, we'd love to have you be a proud Meltdonian today. The other half of the Meltdown, that is Mr. John Lunsford. John, welcome in from what was some time spent together out working Thompson football last week in Tennessee. How was your Nashville experience this past week?
Hot. It was very, very, very hot. It was like 104 driving up there. It was probably close to 100 at kickoff at 7 and continued to be hot, and we continued to roast in the stands up at Lipscomb Academy, but Big Thompson win, and yeah, now we're back.
You'll be proud to know, Tyler, that Lipscomb Academy played a lot of Macklemore over the speaker.
Oh.
Blasted Macklemore at
That
us.
tracks, honestly.
I could not
With what I
stop.
know about Lipscomb.
I could not stop referencing you throughout the course of that game because they played so much Macklemore, and I know that you spud challenged the Macklemore thing out at our Culver's episode of Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia, which you've clarified what a spud challenge is. It's just you simply don't like Macklemore. One day we will have Macklemore on the show, and we're going to see if you guys become best friends, because I can see Mr. Papa Giorgio becoming best friends with Macklemore.
He's a big fan of shoes.
Oh,
That
really?
He's got more shoes than anybody I've ever seen. He's done some videos with a Complex magazine going through his sneaker closet.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Have you ever gotten into shoe collecting, John? Has that ever been a thing that you go, I can spend a lot of money on shoes and I'd be happy?
I have legitimately probably 40 pairs of New Balance 574s, and I wear the same ones every day. I have,
What?
and I don't know if you've ever noticed it in my garage, but basically since I moved into my current abode, I literally have a what should I call it, like a laundry basket that's tall, about this tall, that is just stacked with only New Balance 574s of all various shapes, sizes, and colors.
Are you preparing for the apocalypse, or what's going on here?
I've just collected them over time, and then I kind of got to the point where I just wore the ones I could just slip my feet in every morning and walk out, and they're the ones that just happen to be there. I have like special poker editions that I've worn once to the casino. I have colors of all kinds depending on what colors I wear, but I typically wear the same thing every day. So I have just kind of gone to just the plain old gray. These are more white that I wear now, but I have a lot of those, and that's pretty much it. I have a pair of Jordans. I got a couple other random pairs of Nikes just for whatever.
But you're not a sneakerhead.
I'm not a sneakerhead, but I have a lot of 574s because those are just kind of my shoe that I've worn since like middle school.
Tyler, if you got real rich, other than Supreme gear, what's something else that you would purchase? Is that pretty much it, Supreme gear?
And shoes. I would buy a lot of shoes. There's a Nike made a pair back in 2015 of Air Mags, the shoes from Back to the Future 2. And these actually self-lace, like in the movie. And they released them at auction to benefit the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And they go for anywhere between 15 to 50K, depending on what your
That's
size is.
That's a wide range. 15 to 50K is a wide range.
You know, like, maybe a smaller size, maybe a child size that would go on the lower end, but a more common size like mine would be kind of middle tier because a lot of people wear them, but there's also a good amount of those in existence. But then somebody that would wear a size 18 like yourself, like if you got into sneaker collecting, you would be shelling out way more than any of these shoes are worth.
There's not enough money in the universe for that.
Yeah, there is not. I was upset that even my money wasn't good enough to buy a hot dog there at Lipscomb Academy because they don't sell hot dogs.
Apparently don't have water either, so.
They ran out of water, supposedly. And then we had the PA announcer that was commenting following every play.
One of the worst things on the planet is a PA announcer in a stadium who basically does live play-by-play of the game. They would stop while the ball actually was snapped. They would not stop the music. They would leave the Macklemore playing during plays a lot of times. But then, like, the minute it's over, oh, man, our guy's with a 3-yard gain on the play. That's so awesome. Let's get loud. And then they're going to line up again for the play. Like, that's what it is. It's not just a guy going, 3-yard gain on the play. It's 2nd and 7, like a normal PA announcer.
Wow, what a cut for 4.5 yards up the middle. That's how you do it. And it's like, oh, gosh, this is going to be painful to sit through. And
there's one school in the Birmingham area that is by far the worst at it that Tim and I have experienced.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite that bad, but it was still pretty bad. And literally the only thing Tim and I asked for from the concession stand was Tim asked for a hot dog. Mm-hmm. They didn't have it. I asked for a bottle of water, and they didn't have it.
Yep.
So I can understand a hot dog because, you really don't want, like, a high school concession volunteer cooking food.
I just feel like that should be very standard.
But a bottle of water?
Yeah.
You couldn't grab a case and a bucket of ice?
Yeah, it was.
They had drinks. They didn't have water. I got an orange Powerade instead.
Only thing we
I
walked
feel like
out
those
of there.
are harder to find than.
Only thing we walked out of there with was a win. That was it. That was the only thing that we walked out with, and I was happy that we did that. Tyler, you walked into a bunch of theaters over the past few days. You went a few times over the past several days, especially here with the Labor Day holiday. What all did you see at the movie theater?
So Thursday night, I saw the new Blumhouse horror movie, Afraid. It's basically a guy gets an evil Amazon Alexa, and it was pretty just not good. Excuse me. And then
Tyler's been hitting the moonshine again. I don't know. That was a tell right there.
What else did I see? I saw Slingshot. That's got Lawrence Fishburne, Casey Affleck, and Frenchie from The Boys, and they're all trapped on a space shuttle together, going to one of the moons of Saturn, and they gotta try not to go crazy because they do like a hibernation cycle thing.
If you would have asked me, I would have said that the Casey Affleck movie was the AI movie. I've put Casey Affleck in every movie but the one he's actually in here.
I would agree with that.
I can't keep up with these subpar cinema offerings. Was there anybody in these theaters with you? I mean, did you have a crowd there watching these movies?
Afraid had a pretty decent turnout.
Okay.
I mean, given it is opening night, and the Blumhouse horror movies always turn a profit because people who show up for every sloppy horror movie, like me, will be there opening night and then never watch it again. Slingshot, I was the only one in the theater. And then Sunday night, I went to the re-release of Coraline in 3D, and that had the best turnout out of any of the movies I saw.
It's been going for a few weeks and actually done pretty well.
Yeah, this is its third week of re-release, and who would have thought? I mean, it doesn't hurt Coraline that there really is no other family offering that hasn't already been out for months on end. With Despicable Me 4 still roaming out there, and with Inside Out 2 still roaming out there. There aren't a lot of family offerings, so Coraline is something that at least is getting some of those family audiences back to the theater.
Families don't want to go see The Crow?
They don't. We're going to get into just how poorly The Crow performed this past weekend here in just a second, but I want to talk about another reason why I think the movie business was as dead as it was over the past few days, and that is college football is officially back in full swing. We got our first full week of college football action. Florida State somehow managed to be the punch line of both week 0 and week 1. John, How much football did you surround yourself with this past weekend? Because I know you were excited about the Alabama game, seeing DeBoer open up his era, and I'm curious as to how many other games you watched as well.
So let's see. I watched the Vandy Virginia Tech game. Was actually one of the best games I watched all weekend.
It was a great game.
We could have stayed in Nashville a couple more days and actually seen a Vanderbilt win, surprisingly.
Vandy should have won that one in regulation, actually.
They should have.
Missed a field goal.
Running off with it 17-0 and then let Virginia Tech come back. I watched that. I watched a little Miami, Florida, but that kind of turned into a blowout. Georgia Clemson turned into a blowout. Alabama was a blowout, but obviously I watched every second of that. But I don't know. I did pretty good over with our friends at MyBookie. I always do incredible on week one, and then I just absolutely fall flat on my face. And I will use all that money I made on mybookie.ag, and I will lose it all this week, I'm sure. I actually picked for my upset alert today, Tyler's Colorado Buffaloes over Nebraska. I don't know why. I just did, and I thought if they're going to win, I'd rather get some points for it. But yeah.
Because it's prime time. Check the ice.
I thought you actually had like
No.
something like you actually got a Dion tattoo or something.
No.
So he was pointing to nothing?
It's pointing to nothing.
Just my wrist.
Why don't you go ahead and point to your ring finger, because that's how many rings Dion's going to have as a head coach. So you might as well just go ahead.
Tim and I both right now are wearing more rings than Dion has.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun watching all the college football. The USC LSU game was very good, and then last night was awful. Somehow Bill O'Brien actually looked good after being terrible at Alabama and terrible with New England. And Mike Norvell is awful at his job.
Bill O'Brien was sweating profusely through his shirt last night.
He was.
And I would be too in that situation. You would be as well if we were forced to wear sort of the polo on the sidelines, getting our team ready.
In Florida.
Absolutely. We would be sweating. So, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm quite a sweaty person.
I am.
I'm going to be out on the soccer fields tonight, coaching up my team. Go Stingers. We're getting ready for our very first game on Saturday. I'm looking very forward to having both you and Tyler there in attendance, cheering on the team. So that should be a lot of fun. Anyway, I appreciate y'all's support. But what would you wear if you were a coach on the sideline of a college football team? Would you wear a hoodie, or would you try to figure out a way to wear a hoodie? I mean,
I would probably wear kind of what Kalen DeBoer wore. So he kind of had that lightweight hoodie on with a hat, like a normal baseball cap. I would probably wear that and then switch to a thicker hoodie once it got cold. But for now, these are pretty thick hoodies I wear day in, day out, but a lot of times because it's freezing up here. Obviously outside I'm very warm. So if I had kind of a thin, dry fit style hoodie, he had like a black one of those on, long sleeve, but kind of that moisture wicking style, not quite. Kane Womack will wear like a full thick hoodie and sweat like crazy, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't wear a polo shirt. I feel like it's the nice thing to do. Like Nick Saban, I feel like I always kind of had what a coach should wear, kind of khaki pants and a polo. Yeah. It's not like full suit, and it's also not just like wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt like some people do. But I'd probably go a little more casual than like what Nick Saban did, kind of more what Kalen DeBoer did.
Tyler, you were not sweating one bit when last week you won your first ever world championship in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. That had to feel pretty good. Have you and the trophy become best friends to this point? Is the Dune popcorn bucket
I would
jealous?
say yes, but I left it in the TNR office because I have been moving it around depending on where I'm sitting that day. John wanted me to leave it at his desk, and that's just not happening.
To be fair, Tyler sits in my desk probably more than I do, so.
That is true.
Well,
and it got used to that being its home for a long,
that was
long
the
time.
second part that you had to get into there. But we're going to do a fun thing where normally on Tuesdays we have our Meltdown draft, and normally on Wednesdays we have trivia. This week we are combining the two, and tomorrow we are going to be drafting trivia teammates. As our team league is set to return, Rockstar and Laurel will be putting their belts up on the line against two competitors that emerge from two qualifying matches that we will hold in the month of September, and we will have a championship match hopefully at the end of this month to determine if we will have reigning tag team champions or new tag team champions. John, have you thought at all about your draft strategy for tomorrow? Because you will be one of the participants that is drafting a teammate that will be available for your use.
I mean, it depends where I draft because I think as the winningest player of all time, that should go a little bit into it and either put me near the beginning or near the end. If I'm in the middle, I don't really know who I'm going to pick. I have my last, ditch person if I'm towards the end, and I have who I definitely want to pick first. But yeah, I mean, I know if I just had my pick of the litter from the first moment, who I would pick.
We will see 6 teams drafted tomorrow. 6 teams drafted. And we will see 2 winning teams, one from each qualifier, going on to take on the tag champions. It should be a lot of fun. Tyler, obviously we don't want you to answer right now, but there has been so much conversation following your breakout performance in the tag team division that has now led to you becoming world champion. It's been a whirlwind of support for you. And a lot of people are wondering if you're going to go back to the well with Spud or if you're going to maybe seek greener pastures elsewhere, and we're just going to have to wait and see tomorrow how that all plays out. It's going to be quite interesting.
So how does this work? How does this work? Is everybody getting new teams?
I mean, some people may choose to keep the same teams.
Oh,
It's not necessarily everyone doesn't have to go down a new path.
I think there's only one team that wants to stay together.
The Pennant Grace definitely,
okay.
it seems like, wants to stay together, but they will, be contacted, and we will see if that is a for sure thing from both parties.
well, I guess I'll have to
And I
contact
assume
Spud.
Rockstar and my wife will stay together too.
I
Yeah.
assume so.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to contact Spud because I don't know what he wants to do. I will throw out this wild offer though. Why don't the current world champion and the former world champion team up, since you are looking to draft a partner?
I mean, that's a possibility. We could
I
see.
would have no problem with that.
We could see John Lunsford and Tyler Johns. We could call it Tyler John Lunsford, the team, and it would be quite riveting. That could happen. A lot could happen. We will get to the nitty gritty of all of those different legal matters tomorrow on the show. John, a little bit of therapy session here, and then I want Tyler to come in and tell me why I'm wrong. Okay? Because Tyler, you're pretty good at that.
I'm
All
usually,
right.
I'm usually the one
No,
that
no,
says
no.
you're wrong.
I think you're going to agree with me on this.
Okay.
Okay? I am going through a little bit of a struggle cinematically with a movie that is loved by many, but I've just never gotten into. And that is Beetlejuice. I watched it again last night. I watched it as a young tot. I watched it maybe again in my more formative years. And then I rewatched it again. I went out of my way to watch it again last night, all 90 plus minutes of it. Mm-hmm. And I have never liked Beetlejuice, and I still don't like Beetlejuice. And I'm wondering if you feel similarly, because I know you're married to a Beetlejuice fanatic, or if you've come around on it and now you respect it, or if you've always loved it and you just haven't made that appreciation loud and clear here, because I really don't like the movie. Talk to me. I know you like the stage play.
The stage play was very good. The stage play was also very different. Like the overall aspect of Beetlejuice appears, tries to marry Lydia is still basically there. And there's, the Alec Baldwin and who was his wife in it?
Gina Davis.
Gina Davis.
Those
That's
two
right.
characters, being dead and, oh, wait, we're dead is still kind of part of it. But how they get to there is very different. And the music is very good. The original cast is very good. I don't know if it's still on Broadway or not, but I believe it's touring and coming here this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing the national tour. But the actual movie itself, I just don't really care about. It's like,
You're just very indifferent.
if my wife wants to watch it, it's like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it. But like, I just don't care in general for the character of Beetlejuice. I don't care necessarily for the story of it. I think somebody like Jenna Ortega is a good add to this. I think somebody like Justin Theroux potentially is a good add to this. I just don't really care.
Willem Dafoe, obviously.
Yeah. Monica Bellucci, is that who's playing
Yeah.
like Beetlejuice's wife? I mean, they're all good people to add to it. I just don't really care.
So your hype level for Beetlejuice right now is about where mine is, you'd say? Which is not really that.
Of all the movies coming out this weekend, it's probably the one I would prefer to go see. And I don't even know what else is coming
that's
out
not
this
saying
weekend.
much.
That's you manipulating the situation here, because there's not much else coming out this week.
I just don't care about Beetlejuice, and so my wife will want to go see it, and I was like, okay, fine, we can go see it because we go see a movie a week, and this will be the one for this week.
All right, Tyler, tell me why you fell in love with Beetlejuice and why you're so amped up for this sequel, Beetlejuice this week.
It was the first Tim Burton movie I'd ever seen, so that was my introduction to that whole just style of movie, that sort of dark comedy, gothic overtones. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious the first time I saw it. The dinner table scene still makes me laugh to this day. I love the practical effects in it, and that's why I'm excited for this movie. I want to see that world expanded upon, and I've heard some early reactions saying that this is Tim Burton returning to form.
See, I don't like that. That's another thing. I don't like Tim Burton in general. Now, is Batman fine? Yes. Like, Batman's probably, I guess, off the top of my head, what I like best from Tim Burton.
Remember, that was Tim Burton playing it safe so he could make the studio happy. Batman Returns was when he went full Burton, and then obviously that was his last outing.
I don't see you being a huge, like, Sweeney Todd fan. Maybe because you like musicals, but I don't see that being your musical.
No, like, Edward Scissorhands is okay. Batman is okay. Batman Returns is fine. It's definitely over the top compared to Batman, and I would prefer 89. Sleepy Hollow may or may not come up in conversation, but I didn't really care about it. The new Charlie the Chocolate Factory I didn't like, especially compared to the old one.
Well, that's
Alice in
not
Wonderland. The Alice in Wonderland he did I didn't like. I mean, there's just nothing there. The Dumbo he did I hated. We went to go see the Dumbo he did in Atlanta randomly, and I hated it. It's nothing Tim Burton really has done. Big Fish was okay. Mars Attacks is just okay. Outside of Batman 89, there's not a lot that I would say, yeah, let's go watch that again.
I love Batman 89. I love Mars Attacks. I appreciate different elements of Batman Returns.
Respect.
Appreciate is what the word I'll use. You've damaged respect beyond belief here. But I am just not that excited. Now, look, I didn't really like the original Top Gun, and I love Top Gun Maverick. So there's a chance going into this that I didn't really love the original Beetlejuice, and I'm going to love Beetlejuice, and I'm going to walk out going like, okay, I finally sort of get it now. But I wanted that. Beetlejuice is trending all over HBO Max right now, or as we just call it now, Max, which I think is a dumb downgrade, that name. But I just decided, you know what, I'm going to rewatch this, give it a fair shake, and I just cannot get into it. It's just not my cup of tea, but I think that this is obviously going to do relatively well at the box office this weekend. There's not much competition at all. There's a lot of people who are very excited to see this movie and to see this character come back to the big screen. And Michael Keaton is good in the role, but the role is kind of, I mean, in the original, Beetlejuice is kind of like he's a little pervy. I mean, he's a little bit of
I thought you were going to comment on how he's only in the movie for like 15 minutes.
He is only in the movie for...
See, that's my thing. He's a side character in Beetlejuice.
He absolutely is.
He does not seem like a side character in this. Like, it's almost the lore of being dead and the lore of where Beetlejuice is and what he could stand for and everything is more so than like just it's all about Beetlejuice. And this is more like... we got to make it more about Beetlejuice, and we're going to show more of the afterlife and more about his life. And it's like too much. The allure of just kind of getting a little, I'm a person who loves tell me everything about everything. And even I'm typically a person who says, I hate when the studio comes in there. I want the Snyder cuts of everything. But like with Tim Burton and Beetlejuice, I'm the exact opposite. Like, I don't necessarily want you to show me a ton. And the trailer drives me nuts. And then this most recent trailer we had, I guess it's been playing for the last month or so. There's so much of him with all the shrunken head people multiple times where he says, hold down the fort, Bob. And it's like, okay, we get it. You work with a bunch of shrunken head people named Bob. Like I don't have to see that 5,000 times. I see it once and you move on. Like, it just seems like there's way too much with this. And it seems like the practical effects are going to disappear in some of this to get to more CGI because it's just 2024 and you can get away with that a little more. That also gets away from what made Beetlejuice work for a lot of people before. I'm sure people who love Beetlejuice will love this movie. And I'm sure Tim and I walk out of this movie and be like, whatever. And then we'll move on and probably never think about it. We'll probably still think about the original and never think about this one necessarily. But
I really don't like to prejudge movies unless it's Speak No Evil, which is a trailer I absolutely cannot stand.
Cannot wait for next week when it finally comes out.
Cannot wait when that movie's finally out of rotation and I don't have to worry about seeing the trailer anymore. But
that's because you're not the one going to review it.
Well, my wife desperately wants me to take her to go see Speak No Evil, and I keep telling her no, and she's like, do it. So I may or may not end up having to see Speak No Evil. So we'll get into that at another time. But hate the idea of that movie based on the campaign, but Beetlejuice is just a movie that I'm very lukewarm on going in, which means that it doesn't have to be that great in order to exceed my expectations. So I'm going to give you my honest thoughts here on Friday, where we will have our full-on spoiler Beetlejuice review and let you know where a couple of skeptics and then a diehard fan kind of come into play with our different thoughts on the movie. And hopefully Laurel will be able to be here as well. She's another diehard fan of Beetlejuice that can weigh in and make this an even 2v2 type of conversation. And who knows?
And somebody mentioned Nightmare Before Christmas. He did not actually do the movie. It is
correct.
He
wrote it, I
it's
believe.
based on characters he had, and he produced it, but he did not actually do that movie. I like it okay. Once again, it still is in the Tim Burton, realm for me with how I don't really like things, but it's probably higher up there, and he didn't actually do it. So maybe if he just conceptualizes a few things and then hands it off to somebody else, maybe I like it a little better.
I'll go ahead and tell you the Laurel's list I have planned for Friday is 5 best Tim Burton movies, according to Laurel Lunsford. So
Are you going to let her count that?
Beetlejuice?
Oh,
or Nightmare Before Christmas? No, absolutely not.
The title, though, is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's a marketing thing, but he was
is.
working on Batman Returns during the time in which...
Yeah, because they're a year apart. And he did produce it, but, it's like M. Night Shyamalan. You can't count The Watchers as like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, technically, even though he still did a lot with it, and it's still his name plastered on it.
It was directed by Harry Selick, who also did Coraline.
Well, there you go. I will make it...
Also seems like a Tim Burton movie.
Tim Burton
It does. It feels like a Tim Burton movie.
Did he do Corpse Bride? I feel like
He
those
did.
have the same kind of look to them.
Yeah.
And
Corpse
I guess
Bride,
Nightmare
very
Before Christmas.
underrated.
All right. Tim Burton, a very polarizing director. Will he be able to appeal, I should say, to general audiences with Beetlejuice? We'll have to stick around and find out exactly how it does. There's a movie that's being marketed right now that I'm very concerned about, John. We talked about Beetlejuice going from a movie to a stage production. I'm worried about a stage production that's going into a movie. Everything I've seen from this has made me less excited to see this film.
So you're talking about Wicked.
I'm talking about Wicked, and I'm very nervous.
Okay.
And I think you're going to fight me on something, but it's the truth.
Okay.
What you're going to fight me on is the fact that they're not really marketing this as a musical. Now, everyone knows Wicked is a musical.
And there's music in the background the entire time, and she sings Defying Gravity in the trailer.
But hear me out. The music is playing in the background of action for sure, but we haven't really seen...
And the main character is a musician.
I'm saying they haven't really shown us anybody singing on the screen during this to a point where it doesn't feel like they're marketing this in a way that is as transparent as you would hope to try to bring in general audiences.
But that's like doing Phantom of the Opera and not having everybody actually singing in the trailer. You know what Phantom of the Opera is, and I know it's based off old, Universal monsters, but like, you know what it is. You know what Wicked is. Everybody knows what Wicked is. And
I get
you
that.
hear the music in the background, you just don't physically see them singing.
But do you think in the marketing that they're going to eventually show us some sort of number that's being performed before people get to their actual
maybe
seats? And
I don't know if we'll get another trailer or not before then,
Yeah.
but
I'm
the thing is, Joker. So this is. I feel like you can only compare this to Joker because those are the two musicals coming out here. That Joker 1 is a straight up like crime thriller drama that has like no singing in it at all. And yet the only advertisement for this that you can even remotely say is that Lady Gaga is there. So she is somebody who can sing very well. So maybe she sings in this. And you, in the second trailer, finally get a little trickle of, okay, there's a little singing. In the second one, I just like saying trickle. In the first one, there was nothing. And then the second one, there's like, okay, he sings a little bit. And at the very end, they sing a little bit. But Wicked is a straight up, nothing, has never been anything but a musical.
Then why do you think they're not showing us any of those elements?
They have to. I think you hear what is the single biggest number from that play in the trailer, and it ends with the final note of that, which is the single biggest point of that entire play.
Let me be clear here.
You just don't physically see her sing
I'm
it.
not necessarily saying that it's deceptive. I'm saying that it seems very intentional that they're not showing you performance of that capacity. And I wonder if that will hurt them because, like you said, everyone knows Wicked is a musical. Why not give us a little taste of Ariana Grande performing something like physically on the screen? I've not liked the marketing strategy.
Dancing. You do see them dancing multiple times in it. You don't necessarily see them singing, but you do see them dancing to where you can tell there's going to be musical numbers in it. It could just be dancing.
I'm sure they're going to release a trailer next week that's going to show them singing nonstop. And you're going to be like, are you happy now? And I'm probably going to watch and probably be saying no. Because I haven't liked...
Just like I'll be with whatever the next Joker trailer is.
That is true. That is true. Wicked was one of my most anticipated movies going into the year. This is before we had seen anything from it. I'm just getting nervous because the more I see from it, the less I think it's going to deliver. And I'm very concerned about the whole part 1 versus part 2 mentality because this isn't a whole movie. And when word gets out that this is an incomplete experience, I do wonder if that is going to affect its box office receipts as well.
They're splitting Wicked into 2 parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
They very much said it at first when they kind of started, but then since they have started the marketing for it, they are just saying it's Wicked instead of, because the whole part 1 thing, I guess, could drive people away, whatever. But like, I mean, it's one of my most anticipated. It was coming into the year. It still is because the music sounds, I know what Wicked is. I know what it will be. Like, if you told me the CGI is so over the top versus what a play is, yeah, I'm with you on that. If you told me that they're probably going to do too much with this movie compared to what a play typically would be, yes, I would probably 100% agree with that. But I can hear the music. I can sing every single word to Wicked, and I hear the music, and I know that it sounds good. I don't necessarily see them doing it on film or on screen. I know I am not necessarily the majority of people out there. The majority of people potentially haven't seen Wicked, even though it's been around for a long time and it's traveled and all that. If you wanted to see it, you pretty much have had an opportunity to see it. But, like, as somebody who's very into the play and the music and everything, I think that will all be done very well. There's other aspects that, sure, I could see be done not very well. But I don't know that anybody's going into this thinking, because even The Wizard of Oz is a musical. So nothing around Oz that's ever like been mainstream. I guess there was that James Franco movie. I don't know if it was a musical or not. But like that aside, everything about Oz has been music. So I don't know that you're going to necessarily expect anything different. And here's the prequel musical
Once again,
we're making
it's
into a
not
movie.
that I think they're being deceptive. I'm going to try to make this clear. It's that I think that they're holding it back for some reason, and I can't figure out that reason.
I think
just
the
don't think they need
simplest explanation for it could just be the choreographed dance numbers just don't look that good in a trailer compared to the other shots they chose.
See, you do see some of that in the trailer. There is dancing in the trailer. Like there's certain things I can tell you exactly what's happening. Just me,
Maybe.
I know the average person can't, but like I can tell you, oh, this is during this musical number. They're dancing, and you see Ariana Grande dancing during that. Like you see that in the trailer. You just don't physically see their lips move while songs are being sung, and especially at the end with the biggest song from the play is how the trailer ends.
I just wonder if they're going to ramp it up because I think it would be a mistake not to. And I'm not talking about because you're going to trick people to come in there and they're going to be like, oh, this is a musical. It's not really that as much as it is the selling point of this, of like you're going to get some grandiose performances from some talented female vocalists especially. And they're not really utilizing that in the marketing. And I just feel like it's been overall a weak marketing campaign. And if Wicked underperforms, I'm not going to be shocked in the least bit. I don't think you will be either.
No, because it's coming out the same day as Gladiator, I believe.
Correct.
So that is going to
I
take a
know
lot
which
of
one
people
I'm
away.
seeing.
I mean, that's an easy. It's not Barbenheimer quite, but it's an easy back to back. Like 100% going to watch both of those when they come out, but. I don't know. And like Charles mentions, like, what did The Greatest Showman do? And I was trying to think, what did West Side Story do? Like, West Side Story, there's no hiding what West Side Story is. I don't remember, honestly, if it was a lot of singing in the trailer or not. I don't remember what The Greatest Showman did. Like, you knew going into those what they were, but I don't know what the actual, like, trailers were for them necessarily. And
West
I'm
Side
not going to pull them
Story-
up right now and look, but
West Side Story definitely had them singing in the promotional material, but West Side Story really kind of underperformed based on what maybe the expectations were. There's a reason that Warner Brothers is deciding to play it this way, and I'll just be curious if they change strategy as we get closer to release date, because I think if they were to release a live-action Frozen movie, Disney would very much have those characters singing in the previews to tell everybody, hey, this is what we're showcasing, this type of talent, this level of talent. And I just don't feel like we've gotten that from the Wicked trailers. Is it a nitpick? Yes. But will they change strategy closer to release date? Quite possibly. Just stay tuned. We will see. There's another movie called Sing Sing, which also didn't have a lot of singing in it.
Correct.
That we all saw did we all see it last week, or did y'all see it 2 weeks ago and I saw it last week? Anyway.
I saw it 2 weeks ago.
We saw it not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Y'all have called this the movie of the year. 5 out of 5. Coleman Domingo obviously is an actor that was on all of our short lists in the Meltdown midterms that we just posted. If you haven't watched that, make sure you watch it at some point for his performance in this movie. Do you feel like, John, politically, Sing Sing is doing anything right now to put itself in a position to win come Academy Awards time? Because to me, the rollout for this has felt less than punctual. It has felt like it's sort of dragged the rollout a little bit, and it doesn't feel like momentum is building for something like Sing Sing right now.
It depends what A24 wants to do. Because here's what you have from A24 so far this year. You have, I don't know that they'll make a push for Civil War. I don't know that they'll make a push for Love Lies Bleeding. You have Maxine, where there may be a push for somebody like Mia Goth. Not the movie necessarily, but her. You have Sing Sing, where there may be a push. You have there's something else that's coming out. I feel like that they would push. Oh crap! Now I can't find it. Oh, A Different Man, the movie with Sebastian Stan. I feel like they're really going to push him. How do they push Coleman Domingo versus him for Best Actor? How do they push their different movies? Because there are a lot of times I feel like there's like one or two that are like, okay, those are the A24 movies this year. This year I feel like there's like 3 or 4 that could potentially be those movies, but none of them are actually going to be like an Everything Everywhere All at Once or a Moonlight that like definitely won. Depending on who you ask about Moonlight, but that like, you know, we're definitely favorites to at least compete for awards. It depends how they want to push it. And I feel like Sing Sing is one of those movies that they didn't necessarily push. And to be fair, there's a lot of A24 movies that are like that. So it's not like Sing Sing's the only one. It's just the one that's getting the buzz. And the last one they had that got the buzz was Everything Everywhere All at Once. That definitely got the push. And The Whale that got a little bit of a push too.
I know we haven't seen everything, obviously, that's coming out this year. And towards the end of the year, there's just a smorgasbord of things that we probably won't get a chance to see really until February, all of the things that'll be in contention because of the market we live in. But is Sing Sing, in your opinion, John, a guaranteed lock for a Best Picture nom?
No, I would probably put it at like 85%.
What about Dune Part 2?
I think that is a lock.
An absolute lock.
Yes.
So that is one of the 10 spots taken away right there.
If I had to guess, Dune will be this year's Mad Max that wins every technical award under the sun and doesn't win.
And there's no way you can have a movie
major
that
awards.
wins all those technical awards that isn't also nominated for Best Picture in there as well. Okay, we'll see how the legs of Sing Sing hold, because word of mouth on this is good from those who have seen it, but I don't feel like that's a very large number of people, and I do worry it's going to get lost in the shuffle come November, December, really January even, and I don't know if it's going to have a resurgence of sort of political power pushing what needs to be pushed from this movie. And who knows if it'll hold as y'all's favorite movie of the year. We will have to see. But if there's a movie that both John and Tyler like more than Sing Sing this year, I'll actually be surprised by that. I'll be shocked by that.
I will too.
Y'all have been really, really high on that.
I would be surprised. There's a couple that I think will compete for it. But like the one place I usually go to kind of see what the favorites are for the Oscars, Coleman Domingo is still very much one of the favorites, at least to be nominated, as is Clarence Macklin, that was kind of the supporting actor in that. But Sing Sing is not necessarily one of those shoe-ins. Like Dune is, like really probably the next one I've seen is A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan, Timothée Chalamet movie, which once again he'll compete for Best Actor as well. But then there's like a lot of unknowns based on streaming that are holding things back, based on A24 and Neon that are holding things back, based on a lot of different factors that, you know, the Oscar movies typically come in December.
Yeah.
But Oppenheimer won in July. Everything Everywhere All at Once won in like February or March. So it's not like that's a necessity anymore. I mean, then Dune was what? End of February, beginning of March.
Yep.
So it's the one I do not think it will win Best Picture at all, but I think it's the shoe-in to be nominated at least. And I do think last year, had it come out when it was supposed to, because it was supposed to be like October last year out before the strike, I think it would have very much competed with everything, would have been nominated and everything, would have taken a lot of the technical stuff from Oppenheimer. I don't know that it would have been in for Best Picture, but it would have potentially taken a lot of technical stuff from that. So that's why I think it's kind of had that push even before it came out of like, okay, it was supposed to be last year, it got pushed to this year. It's definitely going to be nominated for everything this year, but who knows what independent and streaming stuff will
Almost
pass it.
after every Labor Day weekend, what I do is I say goodbye to the summer movie season because it's officially gone now. I start to think about what great horror movies are coming out in October for sure.
Gross.
But October's a stacked month. I mean, I'm so excited for October this year.
So ready for it to be over.
But
October starts with Speak No Evil for me.
I also think that post-Labor Day, what I start thinking about in my head is award season. And what are those movies we're going to be talking about for months to come? And how many of those have already popped up? Dune Part 2 is one of those. Sing Sing should be one of those, but I don't know if it will be.
The list I'm looking at that's usually pretty good at kind of predicting this stuff, only one of the 10 movies has come out that they have as the 10 favorites to be nominated, which, of course, of your 10, 6 or 7 will actually only get nominated because there will be a few that'll move in there. The independent things we hadn't even heard about yet, and it's already September. But Dune is the only one that has come out so far.
What are some of the other ones that are supposed to be favorites for?
So a complete unknown is one of those favorites kind of in almost every category. It's going to have music with it. It's going to have acting with both Ed Norton and Timothée Chalamet, writing, all that kind of stuff.
Sting about a girl and her pet spider.
Not Sting. Saturday Night is one of those that's kind of crept in there as like very much at the bottom, but like,
Could.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Now that we've got a trailer, like maybe it could potentially get in there.
Could.
The Piano Lesson, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that. It's a Netflix movie. It's been one that I've seen for a while, and there's talk of it could be Denzel and John David Washington both being nominated. Denzel for Gladiator and John David Washington for this.
August Wilson adaptation, correct?
Yes. It's going to be on Netflix. Gladiator is one that's kind of been hovering around, but it's always been near the bottom of the list. Like, yeah, it'll probably get nominated because the first one was definitely one of those that got nominated. It's got a ton of big people in it. It has a lot of power behind it, but we're leaving it at the bottom of the list for now to kind of see. It could easily, the minute it comes out, go whoop to the bottom of the list, or it could easily go whoop up to the top of the list instead. But we're kind of leaving it there. But Denzel is somebody. Pedro Pascal is somebody from like a supporting angle that's been listed. It seems like Denzel is going to be the push that they're going to make for main actor, not Paul Mescal. There's a movie called Blitz that is a Steve McQueen movie that stars Saoirse Ronan. I think it's one I've seen listed a bunch. There's a movie called Honora that's done by Sean Baker, who did the Florida Project.
I've heard great things about that movie.
It looks really, really good. It's basically about a stripper who...
I did see a trailer for that. That looks good.
It's played by the girl who was the killer 2 Screams ago and was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And she's like a stripper, meets a Russian oligarch's son. They end up getting married, and it's all about how the Russians come and say, like, you can't marry a stripper, how dare you? And the Florida Project had a lot of potential. It just didn't live up to the potential. I never saw Tangerine, the first movie he did that was all shot on an iPhone, interestingly enough. But this one looks really good, and Neon is putting all their power behind it. Neon does a good job with that. Emilia Perez is a Netflix movie that it stars Zoe Saldana, and she's one of the favorites to win Best Actress right now. Selena Gomez is one of the favorites to at least get nominated for Supporting Actress. It's about a Mexican cartel guy that undergoes a sex change operation to try to evade the police. And...
who hasn't done that at least once?
Who hasn't done that? Let's see. Conclave is one. It was one of the ones on my list that I was looking forward to. It's Ray Fiennes,
Stanley
Tucci. There's somebody else. There's a bunch of big people in it. It's kind of like a political thriller about the election of a new pope. It's one that's been up near the top for Best Picture and some acting stuff as well. Like directing right now, the guy that did Emilia Perez, Sean Baker from Honora, James Mangold with A Complete Unknown, I definitely think he'll get nominated. Jason Reitman is now somebody who has moved up from not being on the list for Saturday Night, and then somebody like Ridley Scott that we'll see.
Maybe, who knows?
It's total hit or miss with him.
I didn't hear any Megalopolis in there. Did I miss that part of this whole presentation?
Megalopolis ain't going to be anywhere near this, but you know what? There's a lot of movies I enjoy that aren't anywhere near the Oscars.
It's time now for another round of 10 with Tim. But first, I'd like to update you on 10 of the best visits I've ever had to a single location. Just a few weeks ago, I visited the dental team that I trust most, located on Grants Mill Road, Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian. Over at Alabama Dental Associates, they'll take care of you with the professional care that you'd expect. They're extremely flexible with your schedule with those late office hours, Monday through Thursday, along with hours of availability on Friday and Saturday. Dr. Nolan has now joined the team. The Pensacola, Florida native, graduated from the UAB School of Dentistry. Go Blazers, in the top 10% of his class, and he does so much to add to our community. You'll love the newest addition to the best dental team in town, which just got better. Reach out, try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself. They're accepting new patients now. Can help you feel at ease about all of your dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, I've got 10 questions. We've got about 10 minutes. I want everybody in the chat to play along as well, as we are going to go to question number 1. John, name another country other than Japan that you'd like to spend a week in. You're getting an all-expense paid trip. 1 week, we're shipping you off where you want to land. Can't be Japan.
Sweden.
Sweden. That sounds lovely. Interested in a bunch of chocolate?
Sure.
Okay. Anything else about Sweden that you're interested in?
A lot of big gaming events in Sweden, so I could schedule around that. And, I feel like if you're going to go to a European country like that, you don't necessarily just go just to one.
Yeah.
Like, Greece would be another to go to my in-laws, homeland. But, like, I wouldn't want to just go to Greece. I want to go to multiple places. Same with Sweden. I want to go to, like, a few countries around there. I feel like traveling around countries there is like traveling around states in America.
Tyler, name another country other than Japan that you'd like to spend a week in. I'm assuming that both you and John, your answer would have been Japan had I left it on the board.
You would be correct. I'm gonna go either South Korea or Ireland.
South Korea or Ireland?
I would say South Korea, but I have been to South Korea, so it is a good place to go.
Okay.
EG's here for our very first question on 10 with Tim. Yes, come hop in. Okay, here's EG. It was like the bat signal. She heard 10 with Tim. I don't know. Do we have a camera shot of EG? Now I feel bad.
No, we don't.
No, you forced John to move it to a tight shot of me.
Force is a very strong word there, Tyler. I guess I just...
John, please move it to a tight shot of Tyler.
I thought the people would enjoy having as much Tyler as possible today, but obviously I was mistaken because...
Now you're taking it away from me.
Now I am taking it away. Okay, we have EG. I'm sorry,
Tyler.
Tyler looks for microaggressions throughout the course of the show. My question to you is, name another country other than Japan that you'd like to spend a week in.
Switzerland.
This was John Lunsford's choice, too.
Really?
Oh, you said
Sweden. Sweden.
Gosh, now I feel like
Close.
I feel like an awful person.
Thank you for listening to me.
Sorry. Okay, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I've been before, and it was incredible. And it was very peaceful, very relaxing. And for a weekend, only a weekend, you would get a very nice sabbatical, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pull her camera up, Tyler.
We're going to move to our next question here. And that is going to go to Tyler, who's working hard back there. Tyler, name a podcast you enjoy.
Oh gosh, let me go through them. What was I listening to recently?
No, you can't pick the Pennant Grace.
There's a conspiracy one called The Red Thread. I really like that one. And then I listen to the Joe Budden podcast and DJ Academics when I want to know what's going on in music.
Okay, there we go. Multiple choices there from Tyler. EG, name a podcast that you enjoy.
So this is kind of random. It's called Absolutely Not. And I found it on TikTok, and it is so funny. I find the woman that hosts it so hilarious. And she takes call-ins, and it's people's absolutely not. So it's experiences of, like, I'm trying to think of one. Like someone's boyfriend's mom didn't invite her to their family beach trip. So it was like her absolutely not. Like, what do I do?
Gotcha.
And she's hilarious.
Well, that does sound like it could be very funny.
Very entertaining.
It's got to be hosted by the right person.
Yes.
John, name a podcast you enjoy.
I only listen to two podcasts. I listen to Smartless, and I listen to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Both of those are very good.
Both very, very good.
I think that shows that we're both millennials because I think we're the target demo for both of those.
Yeah, even though none of them are hosted by millennials.
That is correct. Next question. E.G., have you ever eaten at a rainforest cafe?
Yes, I have.
Fun experience for you? You like the thunderstorms?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sound like a huge fan. Tyler, have you ever eaten at a rainforest cafe?
Many times, yes.
Now
And,
you are, I can tell you're a legitimate fan.
I love the Rainforest Cafe, Tim. The thunderstorms, whew. And also the T-Rex spinoff
Oh,
that they
yeah.
used to have at Downtown Disney.
It's still there.
Oh,
Disney
it's still
Springs,
there?
Still
Oh,
there.
I need to go.
Okay, we're going to get Tyler to the animatronic dinosaurs. Do they have thunderstorms in there as well during the, or is it meteor showers?
It was a meteor
showers,
shower, yeah.
Yep.
Creative.
All right.
We're all
John,
gonna die.
have you ever eaten at Rainforest Cafe?
I have. The only one I consciously remember eating is the one at Opry Mills, but I'm
eaten
sure
at that one.
I'm sure I have eaten at other ones before.
Did it blow you away?
No,
I feel like
I don't really care about.
if me, you, and
That
Tyler went to one of these, it would be a more memorable experience than the one that you went to.
It would be like stuff would happen.
Yeah.
And you would be like, John, Tyler, oh my God, this is happening. And I'd be like, I don't really care. Can I just get my food? We've waited 30 minutes for our appetizer.
I'm the optimistic, happy, excited one out of the bunch.
I can see that.
And John is very much like burn everything to the ground. And,
Yes.
you know,
Sometimes you need that.
That's kind of where we're at right now. So maybe we should go to the T-Rex one where the meteor showers would literally burn everything to the ground.
Oh,
so I
kinda
could
like
be
this one.
excited on the
Okay,
way
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay, next question. John, are yodelers impressive
Yes.
or annoying?
No, they're impressive.
I thought you would just take the other way.
Legitimate yodelers are impressive.
Can you yodel?
No.
Have you ever tried?
I mean, I've done it goofing off before, but no. If you can legitimately yodel, then it's impressive.
Tyler, are yodelers impressive or annoying?
Both.
Ooh.
I
And, like,
can
it's
accept
impressive that you're able to do that,
Yeah.
but the sound is just absolutely abrasive to me.
Okay. E.G.?
I never considered it. But I think when I imagine a yodeler, I think of the Grinch, the guy on top of Mount Crumpet. I found him pleasant, so
I
think
don't
it's
know
impressive.
if did the Grinch actually yodel on top of
No.
Mount Crumpet, or you're
He took his
thinking of
outfit.
someone
Jim-
else that
Jim
yodeled.
Carrey's Grinch.
Yeah.
He was wearing lederhosen for a bit in that
Yeah,
movie.
because
I don't
he.
think- I don't know if he yodeled.
No, the Grinch didn't, but the Who did.
Oh,
And then.
oh, you're right.
And then he gets taken
Yeah.
I'm
by the
listening.
Grinch.
And then he gets a
Yep.
you know,
I'm
pulled
And
off.
listening to
then
it right
he
now.
wears the yodeler's outfit to the Christmas extravaganza.
See, John is the Grinch, and Tyler is Max, and I'm the mayor of Whoville, just wanting a good time for all.
Weirdly enough, that does fit all of you.
Yes, and you're Cindy
Yeah.
Lou Who, just
Yes.
going like, can I not just pop in every now and then and steal a scene?
Absolutely.
So here you are. All right, next question. At what age, Tyler, would you say PE went from being fun to being tedious?
I mean, I guess in middle school it was pretty tedious because a lot of times they would just have us like run laps around the gym because that way you really don't have to watch anybody or do your job. Which kind of felt pointless to like half of the class at least because most people were playing some kind of sport. And so for me it'd be like, all right, cool, I got to pretend to run for an hour and I've got like soccer practice or 2-a-days like coming up after school. So
That sounds.
it felt tedious at that point.
We don't make you run here at the Meltdown, and I think that's very important.
Thank God.
John, at what age would you say PE went from being fun to being tedious?
So PE went from being tedious to being fun in middle school because when you were in elementary school, you had to do the presidential fitness challenge and all that stuff. You had to go run a mile and they time you. When you got to middle school, you did that when you played sports. So like football would make you go do that or basketball would make you go do that. But PE was just playing dodgeball and having fun. You didn't have to worry about that anymore. And it was way more fun in middle school and high school. Granted, I didn't usually take PE. I usually had like a football class. But like in the off season, we would basically switch to PE and it was way more fun then.
EG?
And I had to embarrass myself doing the presidential fitness challenge or whatever. And you know what that was called?
Yeah,
the
the
presidential-
pacer.
yeah,
Like
the
you
pacer?
had to.
Yeah, I got
you
to
know,
level
I don't
40
remember any
on
of
that
this.
as a
Sit and
kid.
reach.
You had to do. Y'all had something different. I don't remember
I
all
don't
that.
remember any of this.
But like you had to do a pull up. You had to do like
do
how many
pull-ups.
push ups, how many sit ups, and all that. And like it was super embarrassing because I couldn't do any of that, and I was slow.
Yeah, the sit and reach was part of that for us, EG.
Yeah, and the pacer, we had to run back and forth.
Yeah.
No pull-ups, though.
So, Did you ever find?
We had, I think it was a choice of pull-ups or like a length of time to just hang.
Oh, I don't
by
have
your
any of
arms. But you had to choose.
EG, that rhymes with PE.
It does.
Have you always enjoyed PE?
I
or
really
is-
have. Yeah, I took PE as my elective every time in middle school and high school. Nice.
It's sports. I mean,
Exactly.
it's fun.
A lot of you in the chat being very, very active here.
Love it.
Pavlik talking about how the Price is Right yodeler is the GOAT in that range game. You guys probably don't know
Nope.
what
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
that exists, but that was a lot of fun.
It's classic.
Be sick at home, avoiding PE, watching the yodeler on The Price is Right. Okay, next question. What's your go-to beverage choice, John, on a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine? These are popular at a number of different establishments, including AMC theaters.
So because I don't do soft drinks really anymore, I would go Minute Maid lemonade or Powerade most of the time. Well, some of them have vitamin water. If they have vitamin water, I'd probably do that.
Okay.
But outside of that, probably lemonade.
What
EG?
flavor?
Power C. That's what
Okay.
it's called. I don't know.
That's a good one.
I really don't know exactly what flavor it is. It's just
Now
the
we
one
know.
that I like the best.
EG, what is your go-to on a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine?
I love vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke.
Yep.
I remember they would hand those out at the BJCC after Still Dogs games. They would hand out vanilla Cokes. It was a new thing then. And I remember getting it and popping it open. And even though I was very thirsty,
It didn't really.
I just was never big on the vanilla Coke.
Never my thing.
I was never really big on it, but I'm glad that you're still keeping it alive.
am.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola Freestyle machine is basically the only way you can get a vanilla Coke because they don't really serve
No.
it anywhere else.
Yeah, they don't do cans of vanilla Coke anymore, just cherry.
Yeah. Tyler, what's your go-to on a Coca-Cola Freestyle machine?
Like John, I also don't really go for soft drinks, so I go with the High C, the
Good choice.
orange vanilla flavor. High C.
Nice.
Not that.
No.
A little creamsicle
Gross.
High C.
There we
I
go.
see fruit punch is good, but that's kind of it.
I like peach. I think it's peach Fanta. Fanta? You guys say
Fanta?
Fanta or Fanta?
Fanta?
I have a
Fanta.
friend.
The
Hold on.
commercial was Fanta. They sing the
Guys.
song and say,
Guys,
Fanta, Fanta,
let
don't
me-
you want to?
Let me tell you my problem here. I have a friend who for years has pronounced it Fanta.
Oh, that's horrible.
That friend is wrong.
I got it, but
Is it like a nostalgic?
I believe at some point they did say Fanta in some of the marketing, but it has ruined me with that word of whether or not it's Fanta or Fanta, because for the longest time I was on y'all's side of correcting him, and now for some reason I've adopted it myself.
I don't think it's ever been Fanta.
No.
I believe
It's always
that
been Fanta.
in some
The
of the
advertising-
Only
marketing-
heard Fanta.
The advertising has always been
You
Fanta.
are making up
Nick
font.
not
Grace,
making anything up.
Co-host chiming in all caps. Fanta?
Guys, my friend has ruined this for me.
Is
but
this
I
the
feel
new
like at
Ross Dress
some-
for Less?
This is not- All right. I refuse to be the
Wait.
punching bag on this show.
I do have a story, though, about Fanta. I got asked to homecoming my freshman year with a Fanta bottle.
Okay, now you're just mocking me with the way you're pronouncing it.
But I
I've-
really did.
Have you guys never heard Fanta? It pronounced Fanta
No.
before?
No.
It was, would you
I have.
wanta? Would you Fanta? Oh.
Now,
I still have not heard Fanta.
I want to make it clear I've been Team Fanta throughout my life.
It's also British, so that's a little
But I
different.
said Fanta because my friend has impacted me.
It
in a
also sounds like
negative
you're
way.
saying like Fawnta, like F-A-W-N.
Fanta.
T-A, like
I'm trying to find this
Fanta.
know what?
Fanta bottle.
I hate we even talked about this. Let's move on to the next subject. We are a proud Coke pour here
We are.
at Disrupt Media. Okay, next question. EG,
Yep.
when upgrading to a new phone, what feature matters the most to you?
The camera, probably.
Quality?
Quality. Yeah, I want the upgrade of the camera, I would say.
Tyler, what is the feature that matters most to you in an upgraded phone?
I guess storage space.
Storage space?
I look at that
Okay.
before camera.
Okay. John, either of these two options the first thing that you're looking at with a new phone upgrade?
Probably storage space, and I also want the biggest screen possible. Like I switched to
really?
Android for a hot minute because they came out with the Galaxy Note.
Oh,
which
that's
was-
too big.
Which was like a really big screen, and iPhone was still, they hadn't come up with the iPhone Max yet. But then basically iPhone came out trying to be like that, and I went back to iPhone.
Okay.
I'll find
I
this Fanta
want
bottle.
typically whatever the largest phone is that they're offering. The bigger the phone, the better, because it makes me look like a normal sized human if I have a giant phone.
Like I wouldn't mind one of those that like folds open just to have the
yeah.
bigger screen. The only problem, like I saw one the other day, I guess it was maybe Saturday during college football, but like there's a big piece of it that like when you fold it open, the screen's there, but when you fold it up, it's just a big piece that's like no screen. It's like sticking out. Yeah, it's like, so like, you know, phones are rounded a lot of times, but it like sticks out like that, and it's really weird looking, and I feel like it would get in the way. It's just when you open it up, it's like it helps the screen extend a little more. I think it's actually where the fold is, maybe. So like there's probably something in there.
Interesting.
There's like tech in there or something like that, but I hated the way it looked folded up. It has to look good this way, and they haven't done that right yet.
I would love to be able to slam my phone shut.
I don't think that's a good habit to develop.
Really?
I used to always slam when I had the flip phone, like always slam it shut.
I love
Slam
that.
it.
Just
I wouldn't do that with the glass one though.
Next question. How many photos featuring yourself are currently on display in your home, John? How many photos featuring yourself are currently on display in your home?
Probably 20, if I had to guess.
Well, I feel like that's a lot for a single person, but not a lot for a married person.
I mean, so like we have a wall in our den that's 16 photos.
Okay.
And like it's like a
Gallery
collage
wall?
of them, yeah. And see, that's all the terms. Like I'm in
What was the term?
gallery wall. I'm in like 12 of those, and some of them, some are just me, some are just Laurel, some are like, you know, our dog or something. So I'm in like 12 of those 16. Then in our bedroom, there's a 6-picture gallery wall from our honeymoon and a trip to New York where I'm in all of them. So that alone is 18. Plus, there's just random. It's probably actually closer to like 30.
I think you're going to set the high score here. Tyler, how many photos of yourself are currently in your place of residence?
0.
0.
Wow.
0.
Not a single one.
Yeah.
We got to get you some framed photos there in the place.
What am I framing photos of myself in my own apartment
See,
for?
it didn't have to be just you, but maybe me and you together
Wait, do you have any photos?
sipping on some cold
I
font.
mean, I've got some posters and stuff, but I think the only like actual photo, and I mean it's a drawing, so even still not a photo, is of my dog.
See, Tyler's like, who needs photos of me when I have mirrors? And that works perfect, right? Mirrors are
Some would say.
acceptable. E.g., how many photos of yourself would you say you have in your place of residence?
There's no individuals.
Right.
Myself.
That would be strange. Unless it was like you with something you were really proud to see for the first time.
But there's individual pictures of me like
But yeah,
in
'cause
different
for
vacation locations.
yeah.
And,
that's
you know,
normal. But
yeah.
it's just as a person living by themselves to have like a gallery wall of myself.
You
I'll
value,
have like an Olin Mills of myself
Yeah.
or something. And that's
you
it.
do value the phone camera more than any other part of the phone, though.
I do. I would probably say, because I've got, probably like 20 to 30, because I have a collage of pictures, and then my fridge is covered in pictures, and then I've got photos on every, like, I have a lot of pictures in my apartment, actually. Probably, yeah, 30.
I didn't even think about the
Really?
fridge.
Yeah.
Because
30.
like we always, everywhere we go, there's a photo booth. Even every time we've gone to the movies, like, you know, those strips you get of like 4 pictures, whatever. I mean, we probably have 50 of those, and they're all up in
Yeah.
the fridge. I wasn't even counting those.
I'm in the fridge.
All right. So between you and E.G. and Tyler, there's over probably 100 total.
For sure.
Probably.
Okay.
Between EG and I.
Probably,
And
yeah.
Tyler.
All right. Next question here. How much money would it take inside of a briefcase for you to permanently relocate right now at this very moment to Chicago, E.G.? You have to go to Chicago right now. How much
Right
money
now.
would have to be in the briefcase for you to go pack up all those photos?
How long do I have to live there? Forever? I can never come back?
You can't go back until you repay said amount of money. You can't
Ooh.
you can't move out of Chicago.
So you might as well just
Would I
stay
have
gone.
employment in Chicago?
Yes, you would not like go broke in Chicago. You'd be able
So
to
I'd be
have a
covering
life.
the White Sox, the Bears.
You'd be the 18th person in that
Yeah.
stadium. Yes.
Probably a cool 10 mil.
$10 million in the briefcase, and you're ready to go
Yeah,
right
'cause
now.
I would like
you
to
can't
have-
leave Chicago and live anywhere else until you replace that money.
Well, then let's go like 40 mil, and I'll get the nicest apartment there, and then I won't have to leave.
Okay.
Or
There we go.
home, or
You're a
also
Chicago
buy-
resident for life at that point.
Yeah, the high rise.
Tyler, how much money would it take in a briefcase right now to get you to go to Chicago
Uh,
and live there for as long as it takes for you to pay it back if you want to leave?
similar to EG, it'd be like 25, 30 million.
So you're retiring in Chicago, basically.
Yeah, at
I'm
that
comfortable in
point,
Chicago.
because like, if you're not living in like some luxurious high rise,
Exactly.
then you're in the rest of Chicago.
Exactly.
No.
So
Boomers-
that money doesn't spend too well when you're 6 feet under.
Boomer's not interested for any amount of money whatsoever of moving to Chicago.
Right?
I don't blame them.
Do I have a very good job?
Yeah, am I
Let's
covering
say-
the Cubs?
Let's just say it's comparable to your life thus far and the things that you've attained in your life to this point. You're not like going there and getting some sort of corporate CEO gig immediately out of the gate.
$20.
Whoa, wow.
Wow.
I'll move right now.
You like the cold, though.
I do like the cold.
So is it
My
that you
mom's
like
from
Chicago
Chicago.
that much?
I like Chicago fun.
20 bucks.
I've been to Chicago probably 6-7 times.
You're telling me if a man dressed in all black comes in and says $20
and told me I have a good job there.
Yeah.
Like I have here.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, is it
Wow.
because you want to get away from me?
Also, I can pay that $20 back really easily if
Yeah,
I did want to
that's
move.
true.
You
away.
can move anywhere you want at that point.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like this hurts our Rainforest Cafe chances, Tyler.
There's probably one in Chicago. You can come visit.
We could catch a few games. Good sports town.
Yeah.
You'll be missed?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Ta-ta.
Thanks. Question mark?
I feel like the question changed
I
at
feel
that one
smart.
I feel
because
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you were saying like, all right, what amount of money would get you to do it?
Yeah.
But then to John, you're like, oh no, you'd have the same job that you have now.
Well, I mean, I'm not just gonna. I mean, it's not like
he was asking
It's
about-
not like I'm gonna drop you in the middle of Chicago and good luck. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like that. That's what I'm saying. Like if it was that, then you got to give me some money so I can live. But if I have a good job,
Okay,
You know?
now I see what you're saying.
then I have a good job. I can still live a comfortable life. I'll go up there and watch Northwestern football.
All right. Well, you'll be missed. Next and final question here could be potentially the final Tim with Tim question ever. What do you believe is the top reason, e.g., for why football is America's favorite sport?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Wait, say it again. I was dreaming of Chicago.
What do you believe is the top reason for why football is America's favorite sport? Because you agree, even being the baseball fanatic
Yeah.
that you are, it was
Baseball-
passed long ago.
America's pastime, but football is the favorite. I would say the memories that people have associated with football.
The memories that people have associated with football.
Yeah, it's like a football Saturday growing up. You have very sweet times with your parents, friends
traditions.
coming over, traditions. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, Tyler, what do you think is the number one reason for why football is America's most popular sport?
I think it's a mix of it being an all-day event with tailgate and food and whatnot, and then also with the level of physicality in the game, it's almost like a gladiatorial sport.
The answer is really easy. My answer is it's the closest to the Roman Coliseum that we have.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Which is why
in
Gladiator
agreement.
2 will outperform Wicked, probably.
I mean, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but I mean, it's the truth. Because
Yeah.
what does everybody love more than anything? Oh, that was a big hit. I mean, it's the only thing you got to wear pads head to toe. Basketball, you don't wear anything. Hockey, I guess you do because you have sharp blades. That's a little different. You don't have necessarily blades in football, but you do have cleats. And then baseball, you wear nothing except a helmet when you're batting. So like it's the closest to the old Roman Coliseum, while also having a lot of very smart elements to it. It is a game of chess while also having the physicality as well.
It also always does because there's less games in any football league compared to basketball,
Yeah.
baseball,
Because of the physicality.
hockey, because of the physicality and the need to recoup. There's more time for the storylines to build going into a football game than there is for any other type of
Oh,
contest.
easily,
And I
yeah.
think that that's a major part of it is just storytelling from week to week for sure. You mentioned the traditions there. One thing that a lot of people have traditions with is the menu that they use at their tailgate.
Yes.
And those foods that maybe aren't the best for you, but that feel so good going down.
They do.
John, we've been able to find that right balance of foods that taste good and foods that are good for us thanks to our friends over at Way to Wellness.
And college football Saturday was a little different this past weekend, but you know what? I still made it through. Still was able to eat some of the same things that I normally eat for superstitious reasons, and Alabama got a big win because of it. But you can go to planforme.com and learn how to still have your superstitions intact, but eat healthier and drop weight like Tim has done, like I've done, like Jim Dunaway has done, like my dad has done. Go to planforme.com. You see Leslie and her whole board certified team. They're helping us out, and they can help you out. Go to planforme.com.
All right. As September is now officially upon us, the movie business is looking to get its footing back after exiting August with a little bit of a whimper here. By the way, EG, do you need to leave?
No,
I feel bad that I just sort of like.
No, please, I'm here.
Okay, great.
I'm not y'all's. Yeah.
Sit down. You can't leave until
Let me
you
ask
want to
you-
move to Chicago.
Hey, while you're here, John's leaving us to go to Chicago. It's not even the best place he could possibly go. EG,
I'd pay you to move to New York.
are you able to be here tomorrow for our Meltdown tag team trivia draft?
We're debuting.
We're having a draft tomorrow
Okay.
to draft tag team partners for the team league that's coming back.
Even though she's the only person that doesn't want to get rid of her partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody else is ready to drop him like a bad
I
habit.
just
but
wanted to know
Can it
for
grace
formality
forever?
reasons if you could be here.
I think so. I will be in Tuscaloosa tomorrow chatting with assistant coaches, but I can definitely be back in time.
Okay.
2:00?
Priorities, yes.
Okay.
We're 2:00 every day.
Okay.
All right. Great. I didn't mean for that to be passive aggressive. I just meant
I don't know if there's
smart ass.
another way it
Yeah.
was going to come off.
Doing like every day.
I didn't.
Okay.
That's not the way I sound. I didn't
I-
mean for it. I
That's
just
pretty close. It was a good.
just
impression.
letting you know.
I didn't know if we had like a prelude to the draft where it's really going to get started at like 2:20.
Literally every time Tyler exits the theater, 2:00 Central, 3:00 Eastern. You should know this by now.
No. I'm talking about the draft time, not show time. Draft time.
Sorry. I'll give you some.
There's a difference between show times and call times.
To be fair,
Exactly.
yeah, I don't think that would be too.
I'll give you some grace period there for
I
you to
get
work
it.
in.
Yeah.
Get it?
Nice. Emily good.
You said it.
So
I hate
Secret word.
I just want to make this very clear. I want to put it on record. I hate everyone here. Okay.
Who's coming to Chicago with me? All right.
No, I love everyone, obviously, with my full heart.
Obviously.
Okay. I want to get into.
Except John, because he's going to Chicago.
Well, John is definitely, for some reason now, going to Chicago. Like, screw you, Forrester. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to go see the White Sox.
Jay's asked a very important question. Will there be a draft
Switch.
clock?
There should be, yes.
So are there like contracts in this? Like, what's the dealio?
Yeah, we're going to sign contracts. It'll be inked and done. And there will be a lot of maneuvering, I'm sure. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some trades. Some crazy things could happen tomorrow.
I am locked. Is there no way I cannot be traded and my partner cannot be traded?
As long as y'all are on the same page, you guys should be
Once you
able
sign your contract.
to stay a unit
Just here so
moving
I don't
into the
get
tag
fined.
team league.
Tyler, we should be like the Chicago Supremes or something.
Oh,
All
y'all
right.
are teaming up.
All right, let's go with
Seriously?
it.
Tyler mentioned us potentially being teammates, so
Yeah, he's looking to
Wow,
drop
this
his
just
teamate.
got
I'm looking
interesting.
for a
I'm
new
the winningest
teammate
player of all
because
time, and
Spud
he's
is
the
not
current champ,
interested
so-
in me.
Spud is not interested in Tyler.
He's been shopping around since the end of last
Wow.
tag team.
Well,
So-
we all know who Spud
yeah, I
wants
was about to
as a
say,
teammate.
Yeah, I
Spud's preferred teammate already has a teammate, so
Are you saying
This
that
is
you
true.
may pick up Spud in free agency if they?
I'm not a free agent,
No, I know you're not, but Spud will be.
but my partner, we are locked in.
Maybe. Okay.
Steven
No.
said it'll be Tim saying 10 seconds and then him taking 45 seconds to count it down.
So true.
I just want to make it clear here. I've been catching a lot of strays on today's program, and I don't know why that is, but I'm embracing them.
I'm
Wait,
not even
was there
sure if
poker
a
last
lot of
night?
these are strays. They
Catching
seem
strays
meant
like me
for
in
you.
A
Chicago.
lot of them are strays. A lot
Was-
of them are strays.
Did poker happen
missed
last
my
night?
joke.
No poker last night.
Okay, thank goodness, because I thought I got like booted from the club when I didn't get a text.
No,
it
there
was-
was no game last night.
It was-
Check
it
the
was-
website.
It was Labor Day,
EG.
so we were off.
Yeah, you're good.
God,
Okay.
Y'all didn't catch my joke.
I did.
What did you
I
say?
heard your
Labor
joke.
Day?
I said Tim catching strays like I would in Chicago.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And then he said, "Hey," and he did this lean back thing. He was like, "Nobody heard it." It's like, "No, trust me. You want to have that one
Good
go under
vibes
the
today.
radar."
I'm enjoying this.
It's excellent. Okay, here we go. The box office. We have the results from this past weekend. Deadpool and Wolverine remains at the top of the leaderboard. It only missed 1 week. Alien Romulus took it for just about 5 minutes, and then Deadpool and Wolverine took it back. After 6 weeks in theaters,
Wow.
the film made a little over $15 million domestically Friday through Sunday of this week. These are all pre-Monday numbers for the most part, but if you include Monday's numbers, Deadpool and Wolverine has officially crossed the domestic $600 million mark following Monday's Labor Day holiday. The Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman superhero flick is one of only 16 titles to hit that milestone. John, it's a quality film for sure. It's an experience that people seem to be loving to repeat and go back to over and over and over again. It also has faced a severe lack of competition.
And Beetlejuice will pass it this week, but it still potentially will be number 2 and will still hold there and isn't quite Inside Out. I think Inside Out's still like 400 mil ahead of it or something overall, but obviously has done very, very well.
Okay. In the second spot, Alien Romulus, $9.3 million. Both Alien Romulus and It Ends With Us rounded out the top 3 for the second weekend in a row. 6 of the top 10 films of the weekend have been playing for 3 or more weeks. There just has not been a lot of new stuff to get people to the theater for sure. Alien Romulus has earned $88.8 million domestically, and it is now the second highest grossing movie within the Alien franchise worldwide, only trailing Prometheus, which is at the top spot there. There is, however, Alien Earth, which is a series that's coming to Hulu in 2025. It's called The Perfect Planet for the Perfect Organism, Alien Earth, coming 2025, only on Hulu. That's the tagline for it. We saw a teaser trailer for it today.
This is like a prequel to Alien vs. Predator, because that was on Earth.
I don't know exactly if that is the case. I don't know when this is set compared to the...
I feel like that was actually like present day when the movie came out.
I feel like Alien versus Predator, they try to get you to kind of forget about. They're kind of just like, it's off on its own island.
When was the first one of these movies made?
1979.
Sorry, 1979. A year after Halloween. Yes.
What is the longest running movie franchise?
Halloween was a year.
It's got to be James
before
Bond, right?
Bond. First one was like 60s.
Yeah. I guess it depends. Are you counting Wicked as being sort of the spiritual successor here to Wizard of Oz? And now it's
only the second one.
I don't know. But I would say James Bond.
I guess.
But James Bond's the longest running
active franchise because
it was dead. It was not a franchise until Wicked came out 20 years ago.
It's got to be Bond. This is the description for this new series. Tyler, you tell me your anticipation level. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat in FX's highly anticipated TV series Alien Earth from creator Noah Hawley. FX's Alien Earth original series coming in 2025 only on Hulu. Are you excited about this? Did you watch the 15-second teaser?
I did not. You told me to, and I didn't do it.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm moderately excited.
There's not.
I'm always down for more alien content.
What you see is the Earth itself, which is round, depicted in this, and it starts to shape into the xenomorph's head, and it's a really quick 15 seconds. Then it sort of spits at you.
The way it's done, it looks like an American Horror Story trailer.
Yeah.
Like the way it like glitches on the head and everything. I feel like it's how a Ryan Murphy show would be.
I'll probably skip out on the trailer then. I'm sick of that cliche.
It's 15 seconds. I mean, it's not much, but the way you'll watch it and be like, yeah, I kind of see that.
Speaking of glitching, what is that film that is being promoted right now via previews where the person's head is like, y'all seen that? It's a scary movie. And
Smile?
I don't know.
Show me, what does the head do again?
Is it smiling?
Maybe. I don't know. I always look away, so I don't know. I hate it, though.
Well, if you look away, then how do you know what it does?
Because I can hear it.
But
do you hear like squishy sounds?
It's like,
that smile trailer.
I'm going to say smile, but
it's got to be, right?
I'm assuming.
At this point, I don't have a lot to work with.
But it's like a new film coming out.
Yeah. Smile 2.
Smile 2. There it is. Yeah. I think that I go back to my argument that there should be a way to turn off scary commercials, but can't do that.
Well, you won't see it anyway because it is a sequel, and we all know that EG does not see sequels.
No.
Except for her favorite movie of all time. Okay.
But not Top Gun 3.
I can throw punches just as easily as I can
Did
take
I tell
them
you
right
I
on the
watched
chin.
that on the plane?
Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah.
This is 100% an American Horror Story intro, John. Right? It's 100% that.
Okay.
Right.
And I never seen American Horror Story.
It Ends With Us.
I actually have seen that. Weirdly enough, I've seen American Horror Story.
E.G., you're a complicated person.
I know.
And I can't get into your psychology right now, but that's a
Anyways.
separate podcast.
I like a lot of
separate
Ryan
day.
Murphy stuff. American Horror Story is the one I've avoided.
Yeah. You shouldn't
All
be
of
forced
them.
to watch scary stuff. I've watched American Horror Story.
Back in
I
the
actually
day.
kind of like it.
There's a new one with Travis Kelce coming.
Oh, no way.
It's not American Horror Story. It's called Grotesque, I think.
Yeah.
Is the name of it, but it's a Ryan Murphy show that.
I wonder how Miss Tay feels about that.
Oh, I feel like he got the role because of that.
It Ends With Us, which Taylor Swift was used in the marketing campaign for, made $7.4 million this weekend. I do feel like E.G. would like It Ends With Us. I do feel like that she'd go, okay, that was a fun movie and another reason to eat popcorn.
Fun. I don't know if I'd say fun.
Well, she'd have fun
About
going.
domestic violence.
She'd have fun. Don't Blake Lively me, bro. Okay?
Is that not what the film is?
I'm saying
That's the
that
whole point of
she
the
would
film?
have fun going out and going to the movie, eating the popcorn, putting on her florals, and getting out there, which is exactly what Blake Lively promoted.
Sure.
That you
Some
should
would
do.
say.
Yeah, and there's Taylor Swift in the movie.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah, I've heard the book is good. I've been told to read it.
Just because you're 1 foot out the door to Chicago doesn't mean that, you can
I wish we knew
shape.
a Chicago song that we could break out into song singing. Musical? I don't know any of them.
We'll
though.
come up with a song that we sing every time John threatens to leave the show and go to Chicago.
Good.
It's made $285.7 million worldwide. Why, John, even though this is not something you should have fun at, why is this a movie that has done so well and connected with so many people?
Because Deadpool's number one, and so I think those two are kind of tied together. Taylor Swift has helped push
A little
both,
bit of
both
a
of those as
Barbenheimer situation.
well. But actually a married kind of Barbenheimer situation. So yeah, I mean it's done well. And once again, there's not a lot of competition out there.
Reagan came in the 4th spot. This has got Dennis Quaid in the title role there as the 40th U.S. president.
Crush.
It's one of the only new release.
That was my celeb crush. Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
I thought you were saying Ronald Reagan. I was
No,
like, what?
I do have Ronald Reagan too. Good people.
Dennis Quaid plays Reagan in this.
Yeah.
So you get a 2 for 1 there if you go see this
I do
one.
want to see this.
It exceeded expectations as it earned $7.4 million over the 3-day weekend with an estimated cumulative total of $10 million if you include the Monday Labor Day holiday. So we will see how well this movie holds. Twisters came in the 5th spot, a movie that, once again, I think E.G. would enjoy. Worldwide, that movie has made $361.6 million.
Wow.
Blink Twice held pretty strong, like a 35% drop or something like that for Blink Twice. So word of mouth on that, pretty good. And then if you scroll down to Afraid, which is the AI movie that Tyler went to go see, it came in 9th place. I really want to point out what was 13th and 14th. 13th was The Crow, one of my least favorite movies of the year. It had a 60.7% drop, and it's in over 2,700 theaters. And in 14th place was a movie called 1992. This is a movie that made $1.4 million in its opening. But the reason that I tie these two together is because they're both done by Lionsgate. And Lionsgate is having, I think, one of the worst years of any studio. As if you remember, Lionsgate also has Borderlands as a part of its theatrical release slate. And that movie way underperformed in August as well. Lionsgate, their next big one coming out here is Megalopolis. I just worry they can't get anything
The
right.
marketing for that's been a hit so far.
I mean, to be fair, it'll do better than The Crow and Borderlands, which isn't saying much, but it's not going to crush it.
Yeah, I don't know. Lionsgate's in a very tough spot right now for sure. All right, we are going to get to Luntz's list. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I've been holding this one in the back pocket. Back in April, NPR's Scott Detrow spoke with Brian Raftery, author of the book Best Movie Year Ever, How 1999 Blew Up the Big Screen. Detrow pointed out that in 1999, old masters like Martin Scorsese and Stanley Kubrick were still putting out provocative work, while new masters like David Fincher and Paul Thomas Anderson were pushing the boundaries of narrative and cinematic form. And of course, 1999 was also the year that Star Wars returned to the big screen. Raftery said, quote, I think that year it's so personally as a moviegoer, it was fantastic because you had so many films that you and your friends kind of felt like you kind of had to see because that's what was at the top of the cultural conversation. So the question is, which of these 1999 films remain at the top of the cultural conversation for John Lunsford here in 2024? Let's find out with another edition of Luntz's List.
What is this? What is this? What's this? What's this? Oh. What is this? What is this? What's this? What's this? Oh. Long since this to fly. Long since this to fly. Long since this to fly. Long since this to fly.
All right, 1999 is considered one of the strongest years in film history, if not the strongest. John, I want you to take us back 25 years and tell us which 5 1999 movies you consider to be your personal favorite. And keep in mind, this was also the birth year of Tyler Lionel Johns. Is that correct, Tyler?
That is correct.
Oh,
It was.
Whew, glad the math was right on that.
So I went through the list of 1999 movies, and I wrote down probably 70 movies
Okay.
that I feel like I still hear about now. These were not necessarily, I've not seen all these movies. There's a handful. It's like, oh, what about such and such? May not have potentially seen it. I went through and wrote them all down, and then I kind of had to pull. I knew my number 1 was easy, but then my number 2 was pretty easy. But then I kind of had to go through a handful of them to kind of find what exactly I wanted to include on the list. So I did my 5. I did my next 5. Then I did my A tier, B tier, C tier of like movies I still kind of enjoyed, because there are a lot of movies, and it's the kind of thing that a lot of other people will say, well, what about this one? And it's like, well, that's a good, B tier movie, just didn't really do it for me. So there's a lot of movies. There's also movies I hate more than almost any other movies. There's a lot of those from 1999 as well. I found
Interesting.
a lot of them very much nightmare fuel for me that I still get nightmares about. So there's a lot when it comes to 1999 in cinema, and was hard to choose, but here's number 5.
Okay,
I'm
let's start
excited.
with number 70.
Here we go.
This is where we get the
I
Cut off
promise
point.
I won't spoil anything. I have a feeling I know one of these.
Yeah, the goal is to
Number 5.
very much see what he goes with here. I think I could also pinpoint a couple that will be on his short list, but we will see if we were right or wrong. Office Space at number 5.
Now, this is one that has definitely gone up over the years. This is
Yeah.
I did not see it when it came out in 1999. Of my list, I only saw 3 actually in theaters in 1999. But this is one that it's a comedy. It has, a few big people in it, most notably Jennifer Aniston. But it is so true in so many ways. We have worked in the corporate world, not identical because they're computer programmers, but it is hilarious. Mike Judge does a really good job with most of the stuff that he does, and it is so true to life. So much of it when it comes to the corporate landscape and how frustrating it actually can be, but it's very funny also.
For a long time, I remember at our previous place of employment, you had the Milton stapler on your desk,
Yep.
and you would constantly pick it up and make
The
Milton
red
references.
swing line stapler. I had it sitting there, and I don't really need a stapler anymore, so I haven't brought it here, but it is still at home, and it's just a funny movie.
Tyler, have you seen Office Space?
I have not.
Whew, you're missing a classic for
It's
sure.
very good.
E.g., I am assuming you have not seen Office Space.
No, but it sounds like it'd be up my alley.
It's pretty much everything you would want to avoid within your career path,
Oh.
I think. I'm not telling you that you want to avoid the movie.
Okay,
I'm telling
okay.
you that the moral of the movie is
Is
like
out against just my
against your personality type.
It's very corporate. They're basically programmers for a tech company.
bunch of nerds.
And pretty much. But it's about Ron Livingston basically hating his job, and he's in love with Jennifer Aniston, who works at a restaurant, who's a waitress at a restaurant they go to a bunch. And I mean, it's got comedy, it's got romance, it's got everything.
Jennifer Aniston has to have the proper amount of flair on every day in order to keep her job
Yep.
and her customers happy. Now, if we just get our food delivered to us, we're pretty much happy with going to restaurants.
Yes.
That's kind of where we're at.
Smuff says Office Space is basically a perfect comedy. I agree. Is it my favorite comedy of all time? No, but it's probably one of the movies I rewatch the most.
Oh, really?
Like, I was working on this list because my wife loves the year 1999, and a lot of movies that will never make my list, it would definitely make her list. But like, she bought a book about 1999 and has read it a bunch, and like, has shared it with people. She's all about this year. But when I said Office Space is number 5, she's like, you probably watch that movie more than any other movie just because it's on Hulu and it always pops up and I just watch it.
Yeah.
Because I always go to Hulu to watch Family Guy usually to go to bed.
It's a comfort movie.
But it is a comfort movie. I turn on and it's like, you know what? This is so true to life. And I'm glad this is out there as a message to avoid corporate life if at all possible.
Yeah, it is a movie that has surprisingly aged so incredibly well. And if you are a fan of Office Space, you know that to be true. All right, we are going to move on to number 4 on Luntz's list. If Office Space is number 5, then these must be some bangers. Coming at number 4, 3, 2, and 1 for the year 1999 as we look for the best movies from that year.
I assume this is the one y'all said would be on my list.
Actually, no.
Oh.
I thought that was going a different direction.
I actually thought that this would be up there.
I absolutely knew this would be on your list, but there's another one that I also know was going to be on your list. But
Okay.
The Matrix at number
Then I
4.
assume
I
that's
fell
number
asleep
1.
in this movie.
You did. The Matrix, however, launched a franchise that overall I would call successful, even though the people didn't really like the latter movies. I think they've culturally held okay. But this one specifically was very well received. When you talk about Keanu Reeves, whose birthday it was yesterday,
Birthday.
it's, because who did Lance ask? It was Keanu and Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Better career, Keanu Reeves or Kenny Chesney? I think it's Keanu, and not even close because of
Yeah.
how many iconic roles he's had. That's not a shot at Kenny Chesney necessarily, but I mean, Keanu turned 60 yesterday, by the way, and he's still
He
going
looks
strong.
so good.
Still going strong in action movies. I mean, he's
Keanu was a draft choice of mine in the action movie star list. A lot of people remember back when I could draft properly in these things, but I have won 2 of those. This was not one that I won, but I was definitely in contention for. Keanu is fantastic. It's just like, I think these questions that Lance asks, a better career, this person who dominated in this or this person who dominated in this, it's very subjective of just which one do personally you value more, because there's
it's like, Nick Saban or Gandhi. It's like, what kind of question is that? That's the kind of stuff he asks.
You make the argument for both. I do think whatever side you take, the other side has some riveting arguments there, but I would say probably,
I do feel like he's losing his fastball with some of these, though, but yes.
I would say Keanu Reeves is probably the answer because reputationally he is still cream of the crop when it comes to how he interacts with fans. And I'm not saying Kenny has a negative reputation. I'm just saying it's hard to beat that of Keanu Reeves and his relationship with his fans. So anyway, The Matrix.
But with iconic roles, it was like, okay, well, John Wick obviously is it now, but Neo was it for a long time. Bill and Ted. I mean, obviously he has a very long, really well played out career. But The Matrix is kind of, for me, what first brought me into Keanu Reeves, because I was 12 during all of this. But I remember, like, The Matrix was one of the first rated R movies I was like, I need to see this movie because it's very, like, tech oriented, to where I was like really into it. And I was kind of getting into computers and everything for the first time. The internet was really becoming popular. So it's definitely one that I watched many, many times. I very much enjoy. I have enjoyed all of the Matrix movies, but I'm way more like into the Matrix than a lot of other people are.
Yeah.
I've liked all 4 of them. Enter the Matrix was a really good game back in the day. I mean, I've liked everything about the Matrix. So this is a movie that's definitely going to make my list.
I don't like a single thing about The Matrix, I don't think.
know.
It's not my thing. Don't like the video games. I think the sequels, obviously.
Can't even make it through the first movie.
It was a great nap. I had a great nap during The Matrix, but just never been a fan. All right.
Also, bullet time, how revolutionary that was with like how they shot it. and
Yeah, now it's
everything.
completely overplayed. So, I mean
it is,
that
but
fad
there's
has
got to be a first.
been so overused. I agree. There's got to be a first and everything, but I just don't think The Matrix has aged as well, maybe, as a lot of people who defend it believe
I
it
actually
has.
saw a Scary Movie where they parodied Matrix at the end of it before I saw The Matrix.
I think there's a lot of people who saw those Scary movies that ended up seeing some idea in that they ended up going, oh, that's where they got it from with some other sort of franchise.
I saw a Scary Movie in theaters and I was traumatized.
Was it Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2?
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie
The
1?
first one. There's one scene from that traumatized me for life. Anyway.
John literally would have Ghostface calls like, do you like scary movies? No, I don't. Please never call here again. And that would be the end of the movie.
I'm surprised that they haven't done a Scream starting. Maybe they have. I haven't seen them all. But, like, they should start a Scream off with, like, because with, I guess, 5, was it the first Jenna Ortega one? She calls and he calls and she's like, I mean, I like elevated horror, like Get Out, and like names all these like more pretentious
The
horror movies.
Babadook.
Yeah, and it's like that was a good step, but they should do one with like, I don't like that crap. I don't want to watch that. I think it'd be very meta and funny for Scream to do.
All right, let's move on to number 3, which I assume will not be a scary movie. No.
Or if in Scream they do the "What's up" bit, that never gets old.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Iron Giant has been where I've been going this whole time, and it's Iron Giant, a classic.
There's another The movie that I think will make an appearance, though.
The Iron Giant, the only one on here that makes you cry at the end. Although my number one I think has a sad ending. I wouldn't say it makes you cry necessarily. It's just a great animated movie. Also Jennifer Aniston as well. So Jennifer
Go
Aniston,
Jennifer.
Late 90s, peak Jennifer Aniston, making the list multiple times. It's just a classic animated movie. It's not Disney. I think it's Warner Brothers did it, and
Vin Diesel, right?
Vin Diesel plays the Iron Giant, and Vin Diesel. People roll their eyes about Vin Diesel with Fast and the Furious and everything, but like 2 of his most iconic roles have a script of like 4 words. One is I Am Groot, but he does like every translation of it. Like I've seen him like doing all the translations for all the different, Yo Soy Groot and all that kind of stuff. And he actually like the inflection he does in his voice and how to change it from like funny Groot to sad Groot and all that. And when he does We Are Groot, which is the 4th word, I guess, that he had in that script. But then with this one, like he hardly ever talks and just saying Superman at the end. I mean, it makes you tear up. It's just a really solid movie. And if you have not seen The Iron Giant, I highly recommend watching it. And I think it holds up overall. The animation is old, like hand-drawn animation, which you don't really see much nowadays, but I think it holds up.
And it does feel like this robot movie we're about to get very much is a spiritual successor to the Iron Giant.
In some ways I can see that, but it's very like basically Iron Giant's like a war machine essentially, and the military turns on him, but it's turns into like a whole heartfelt story, and he saves the world from a nuke.
If you're interested in the Iron Curtain, then you have Reagan that's currently playing in theaters. You
Love
can go
it.
watch that. All right, we move on to number 2.
All right.
Here we go.
5 best movies of 1999 according to John Lunsford.
I'm still a really big fan of that late 90s animation style. I love the cel-shaded stuff, the color palettes. It's just ages so timelessly to me.
It does feel like a dying art form that is not going to be
Oh,
resuscitated.
it definitely
RC
is. It definitely is. RC Blues, that's a good pick.
Did the thing again.
Oh.
Yeah. Occasionally that happens. It's okay. See, I'm not going to destroy you the way you would destroy me if I made a simple mistake on the air. I'm just going to help you.
I have never.
I've got your blind side covered there. Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
One of your favorite football movies of all time.
I went from a Vin Diesel movie to a Paul Walker movie. How about that?
Oh, look at that.
It's amazing how that happens.
Varsity
It's a good
Blues.
thing Fast and Furious came out in 01.
01, yeah. Varsity Blues is, it kind of depends on my mood because it is more of like a comedy, but I would say it's probably my favorite sports movie of all time. It does high school football really well. High school football is more adult than like any high school football movie will let on, because high schoolers cuss, high schoolers, are learning about themselves and stuff. Like there's more to it that like I feel like you don't get with most high school football movies, because you're trying to make it where kids can watch it.
High
and
School
all.
Musical, basketball team being covered. It's not accurate at all. They break out into dance and song all the time.
Yeah. Too bad they didn't advertise it that way.
They did
I
actually.
know that.
You just made my argument for me.
Anyway, I think Varsity Blues is very well done. Has one of the most iconic scenes from movies, depending on when you grew up, with the whipped cream bikini. I think the whole like coach doing everything to win fits in with a lot of high school coaches I've seen just in the state of Alabama, much less other places. It's just a classic sports movie that has the funny, has the sad, has the action. Like I think it gets the actual football done really well. A movie like Remember the Titans gets the football done really well also, but I think Friday Night Lights does the football really well, but like Varsity Blues kind of has everything. And I don't like part of the reason I didn't like the TV show Friday Night Lights was it got away from the football and had more of like in the classroom and stuff like that. I feel like this has the perfect blend. Like Remember the Titans is almost all football, and I know it's more about like the segregation and stuff like that, but like this does the perfect blend of like in the classroom, outside of school altogether, on the football field, practice field, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really good.
All right, John, it is now time to move to number one. However, I do feel like,
I know you know what it is.
I know what it is, but a couple of honorable mentions maybe wouldn't be such a bad thing right here.
So here's my next five.
Yeah.
I'll go through my
Give
next
me
five,
that.
and then we'll go through the rest after. I didn't really order them, so I'll just give them. This is not necessarily 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Sixth Sense is close, but not quite there. Galaxy Quest is close, but not quite there. Eyes Wide Shut, I really liked. Bicentennial Man is one that will not make almost anybody's list,
I do like that movie.
but I very much like it. And the blasphemous thing for me to say is it is my favorite Robin Williams movie.
That's a hot take.
It is a very hot take. And I know that it's a hot take. It's a hot take even to put it up this high in 1999. And then my number 10, another football movie, Any Given Sunday. I really liked Any Given Sunday, kind of your introduction to Jamie Foxx to the mainstream movie audience. And I thought it was really, really well done. Cameron Diaz is the team owner. Al Pacino's the coach. Is really, really good. Those are kind of the next five that didn't quite make the cut.
It's time now to get to number one on Lunce's list, the best movie of 1999, the one that has stood the test of time, according to John Lunsford, is?
It's definitely Fight Club if we know John.
It's not Fight Club.
It is not Fight Club. It will be every movie before Fight Club.
To be a Stephen King adaptation, I
The
believe.
Green Mile. Yeah, that's a good pick. That was one of my guesses. I was thinking it'd be this or The Mummy.
The Green Mile. This was also something that I had predicted would 1,000% be in the Dune popcorn bucket. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that was a prediction of mine going into this retro trailer reaction, which we will resume this week. The Green Mile, why is it the best movie of 1999, John Lunsford?
Michael Clark Duncan, I think, is one of the best actors that we never obviously got to see his career. He died early. We got to see him do comedy. We got to see him do drama. It was really, really good. And this
It's great, that Planet of the Apes movie from Tim Burton. He was great. He was great in it.
I know, we just have to hold everything Tim Burton does sucks. Anyway, the movie was not good. But yes, he is very good. I didn't hate him as Kingpin. I liked him in Talladega Nights. He
was great in
is
Talladega Nights.
Huh?
He was great in Talladega Nights.
It was really good in Talladega Nights. That's one that's like, it was tough to see because especially after this, playing John Coffey was so good. It has a sad end to it. It's not like a tearjerker necessarily, but definitely has a sad end to it. It's a great, great story. Obviously, Tom Hanks is really good in it. The whole cast, it kind of has that cast that it's kind of a Saving Private Ryan cast. There's like random people like Barry Pepper and all in there that like you see pop up in movies, but you never really remember their names. Sam Rockwell. I mean, there's a lot of people in this that are really, really good. It's one of the greatest movies of all time to me. It's been on my top 10 for a long, long time. It will probably never disappear from there. And one of the few Stephen King things I actually like. I have not seen Shawshank. That's one I still need to see. But with the rest pretty much being horror, obviously I'm not a big fan of most Stephen King things. I can respect Stephen King, but I love The Green Mile.
I believe the first time I met John, he said, "Hello, I'm John Lunsford, and I love The Green Mile." And I believe that was the next line that came out of your mouth.
Yep.
And I was like, well, this is a weird thing to say in a job interview, but it ended up working out. But The Green Mile at number one, this was the one that I knew was an absolute lock. This and The Matrix, I really thought that those two were absolute locks. I did not see you going Phantom Menace, even though that was the most hyped movie of 99 for sure.
So I have a list of movies that I went through and tiered it out. I did like A tier, B tier, C tier. And then I have a tier called I Hope These Movies Die a Horrible Death. And those movies include Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It includes Sleepy Hollow, which gave me nightmares when I first saw it. It includes a movie called Virus that had Jamie Lee Curtis in it that my dad randomly rented from Blockbuster one night and traumatized me. And then it has End of Days, which I wanted to watch. And End of Days is one of the most traumatizing movies I've ever seen. I had nightmares for months after it. It's a bit much. Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of, it's Just even thinking about it is giving me nightmares.
Got it. It's a very formative year for you.
Those were all 1999 movies that it's like, oh my God, I could not. Josh, I was just typing End of Days. End of Days can die a horrible death. My next tier down has some movies that y'all have talked about, some people in the chat talked about that I still very much like, but they're not quite at the top for me. Toy Story 2 is one of those. Once again, very much in the minority that Toy Story 2 is my least favorite of the four. They are all four very good.
Is that the one with the kid, the mean kid?
Sid? That's one.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is the one with the toy collector, and you meet the prospector, and you meet
You get to see Jesse for the first
Jesse
time.
for the
okay,
first
yeah.
time, and all that. But I love Toy Story 2. I think Toy Story 4 is by far the weakest of the Toy Story series.
For me, 3 is by far the best, and then kind of depending on your
What's
mood.
3?
I got nervous there a little bit too. 3 is Lotso the bear.
Okay, yeah.
Where they give them
Barbie and Ken.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they go to the
The
school and
incinerator?
everything. Yeah, and at the end they go to the incinerator.
I think the best part of Toy Story 2 was the airport scene. I like
With all the luggage and everything.
I like when Slinky Dog has his back end going down one track and he goes, "My back end's going to Baton Rouge." It's a good line.
I like it. That's a very weird pull.
Yeah,
Didn't expect that today,
it's
but
a
I
pull
love what
like you
bring
pull
to the
Slinky
table.
Dog. Anyway, other A tier movies. I really liked October Sky. I don't know if you'll like that one or
Yeah,
not.
Jake
It's
Gyllenhaal.
actually a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. I'll put on the list.
Best actor living today that has not won an Oscar, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Incorrect.
Taylor Swift will see to that.
What?
Taylor Swift will see to that.
That's right. I liked.
Swifties have got to get over all this whole dating history stuff and then limiting people's performances.
Don't say you, Swifties.
You Swifties have got to stop hemorrhaging people's performances that they give based on whether or not they dated Taylor Swift.
He shouldn't have been that way.
Pop fans in general, honestly.
The Mummy is kind of in that next tier. Fight Club is in that tier. I liked Fight Club. I didn't love Fight Club. Dogma, I liked. Big Daddy, I liked.
Would you put 1999 up against any other movie year?
From top to bottom, yes. Top 10, no. Probably even top 5, no. But top to bottom, I don't know that I can go pull 40 movies from any other year and say, these are all movies I like, I remember, I've watched again.
Let's not forget Blair Witch Project, which is a movie that you don't have a lot of love for.
Yeah, that was on my die list.
But
I didn't go through all of them. That was on there.
It definitely was a moment in time where
It
it
was.
changed the game for independent filmmaking, for sure.
It was. Austin Powers 2, which once again is my least favorite of the 3, but I liked all 3 of them.
It's my favorite.
10 Things I Hate About You, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Cruel Intentions, that's one my wife maybe watched, but I actually liked it. It was pretty good. The next tier down, the B tier, Wild Wild West, I actually enjoyed. I wouldn't say it's great, but I enjoyed it. American Pie, Deep Blue Sea, I actually somewhat enjoyed.
Deep Blue Sea's fun.
For it being a shark movie. That's actually probably the first shark movie I watched. I probably saw it before Jaws because I saw it. It was one of those my dad rented not long after it came out, and we watched it before I ever saw Jaws. Mystery Men was decent. I like the Thomas Crown Affair with Pierce Brosnan in it. I think one of the most overrated movies of all time that it was just good, not great, is American Beauty. I did not like it. I did not like it as much as I was supposed to like it, I think.
Is that a horse movie?
No, that's Black Beauty,
Yeah.
which is a horse. But American Beauty is Kevin Spacey, Mina Savari, wasn't she in that?
Who else is in American Beauty?
Who's the one that played Ricky Fitz was the game maker from the first Hunger Games. That's the only thing I remember from. I can't remember
Wait,
his name.
what's that? What's American Beauty about?
Chris Cooper is
Chris
in
Cooper
American
was-
Booty.
yeah,
American Booty.
that was-
Gosh sakes.
That
Is
was
American Beauty.
that was his dad. That was that guy I'm trying to think of his dad.
Wait,
It's Kevin Spacey has a crush on his daughter's friend,
I've seen this.
and
I had to write a paper on this movie. Weird movie.
Yeah, that sounds like
the neighbor, Chris Cooper's the
Yes.
neighbor, and his son
Yes, and
is the
they
one.
think-
He films the trash and
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
Yes. The opening scene is not my favorite.
you're aggressively choking the life out of that microphone.
Yeah, I am because
I can tell you hate that movie.
I hated that movie.
got it.
I didn't hate it. It won Best Picture, right?
It did.
Oh.
Is that Sam Mendes that did that?
That is correct. And then he followed it up with Road to Perdition.
Him overall. I like the actors in this overall. I thought it was super overrated. Not quite
Agreed.
my thing. But I'd put it on kind of the B tier. Stuart Little is on that tier.
Oh, I love Stuart Little.
Never Been Kissed is on that tier. And Doug's first movie. I was obsessed with Doug when I was a kid. He had a movie come out in 1999. C tier that, like, yeah, I remember them, but not great. Bowfinger. Election. I didn't really care for Election as much as other people, I feel like. Blast from the Past, kind of same thing. Blue Streak. I actually really like Blue Streak, the Martin Lawrence buddy cop movie. Tarzan. I mean, Phil Collins is fine, but that's about it.
Disney was reaching a point where they had started to run dry there in the well.
Notting Hill, She's All That, Double Jeopardy. I actually randomly saw that in theaters. The World Is Not Enough is the Bond movie that year with Denise Richards. And I actually thought it was kind of funny. Deuce Bigelow, I actually thought it was kind of funny. It's so stupid, but it's actually kind of funny. And the movies I have not seen that I feel like I need to see and could potentially move somewhere on this list, I have not seen Boys Don't Cry. I have not seen The Cider House Rules. Michael Caine, I think, won an Oscar for that movie.
Michael Caine.
I have not seen Magnolia. My vote is Tom Cruise. I feel like that was his choice, his chance to potentially get an Oscar. I have not seen Man on the Moon.
That one's really good.
I have not seen The Talented Mr. Ripley, and I have not seen The Hurricane from that year. I have also never made my way through the South Park movie. It came out that year, and for some reason, I just cannot make my way through it. I have fallen asleep like 3 times trying to watch that movie. I don't know why. And then for Love of the Game, because it's a baseball movie and it's a Kevin Costner movie. And that's a hard pass on both of those. But I feel like it's one that gets brought up every now and then. It's like a memorable sports movie. But anyway, that's all the movies. But overall, that's a pretty big year of movies.
1999 definitely is up there in the upper echelon of great movie years for certain, leading us to this Lunce's List. All right, good job, John. We will have another Lunce's List for you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of the show. We will also be having a Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia Draft for tag team partners. I will establish more of how that's going to go tomorrow, and I'm looking very forward to seeing who ends up getting linked up with who to try to take down a very strong team of Laurel and Rocky. Should be a lot of fun to see how that all plays out tomorrow as we set the tag team season ahead here for the month of September. That's going to do it for us.
By the way, other half of the appendix Grace, Toy Story 3, best cartoon movie ever.
It's definitely in contention.
I'm glad I have somebody agreeing with me that Toy Story 3 is the best of that series.
I think that's pretty, like, almost everybody feels like Toy Story 3 is the best of that.
I thought everybody thought Toy Story 2 was.
No.
I don't remember Toy Story 2 like I remember Toy Story 3.
No, Toy Story 3 is looked at in that series as being the strongest point. Quentin Tarantino even came out here recently and said he refuses to watch Toy Story 4 because Toy Story 3 is so perfect that there's no reason to continue on. He won't watch another Toy Story.
Quentin Tarantino also loves Days
Top
of Thunder.
Gun. Oh.
And Old Boy.
Me and Quentin have something in common.
Well, there we have it. John, one thing that
Days of Thunder, the better Top Gun.
we hope Quentin Tarantino comes out and talks about very soon is MyBookie, because that's something that we're crazy about for sure.
Go to mybookie.ag. I did this weekend with 7-2, made a little extra money there. You can get some extra money by using promo code Next Round. Get that first deposit bonus on us. You can play in the sports book with football season, baseball season, whatever you want to do there in the sports book. You can also play in the casino and the live casino. Go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code Next Round.
All right, we appreciate everybody who's been in the chat today. Charles, Troy, Smuff, Jace, so many of you, Brian, have been here with us, Josh, throughout the entirety of today's show, and we appreciate you making us a part of your day here on The Meltdown. We'll be back tomorrow, e.g. it's 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.
Lord.
Make sure you're here for that with an ice cold Fanta, and it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Yosemite, I'm done. That's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. We'll see you again tomorrow.